give us what we need. Hey!
I listen to KBLA and I love the commercials. I know what the commercials mean. I also, if I'm looking and trying to figure something out, I need something to talk to me that might hit me. And it happens on TV because, you know, every time they show a sporting event, they got the pharmaceutical companies back to back to back telling people how to fix the sickness on the same stuff that they sell them. So we get it.
Yep, we get it too, Chuck D. And that's why at KBLA Talk 1580, we don't black down.
Drop it! Our freedom of speech is freedom of death. We got to fight the powers that be. Fight the power! Fight the power! Fight the power!
Hey Zoe, I'm calling your show, 'cause I need to know. Show me which way to go before I throw my man out the door.
Okay, hold on a second, Keisha. Just let me ask Ronald exactly what's going on, because it takes two to tango, and I need to hear his side of the story.
So she's driving me insane, got stress heavy on my brain. She keeps playing silly games, man, I'm about to bring the pain. We seem to fuss and fight every day and every night. Please give some advice so we can see the light, see the light.
So, narcissistic apologies, right? So much fun. Well, let's think about it. Let's break it down. When you get an apology from a narcissistic person, is it an apology? Or is it actually a defense? So you can drop this in the comments, your feelings about the narcissistic apologies you've received, or even what they look like. There are few things more painful and invalidating to experience than an apology from a narcissistic person, right? They don't really, narcissistic people don't really apologize. They deflect, they rationalize, they blame shift. I am sorry you feel that way. An apology, true apology, contains contrition, accountability, and awareness of the harm to another person. I'm sorry for what I did, it hurt you, and I take responsibility for my action. Apologies are really about making amends in an honest way. It all seems so simple, right? That true apology is all but impossible for a narcissistic person. The thing that they often do, though, is they turn the apology into a bit of a defense. So let's take a look at some examples. It might be things like, okay, I'm sorry I yelled at you. Are you happy now? Because I yell because I'm never heard or appreciated. If you could just show me that you care, then I wouldn't be so on edge. So weigh in. Is that an apology? Or is that merely them defending themselves? Personally, I think it's a defense wrapped up in a gaslighted bow. 'Cause that's the struggle, right? More often than not, narcissistic apologies basically feel like they're defending themselves. It's like they're providing an evidence base for the thing that they're actually supposed to apologize for. Their mouths form the words, "I'm sorry," but it ends up being an entry into a big defensive mess. This comes up a lot in situations involving narcissistic infidelity. They'll say something like, "Okay, I get it. You're mad at me. I'm sorry. Ugh, I've been feeling ignored for a while since the kids were born, or well, since you got your new job, or since your parents moved into town." Fill in the blank on whatever the reason they gave you for cheating on you. And we weren't spending that much time together anymore. And then you decided to take that vacation with your sister, and all that time I had to spend alone, what did you expect? Does that feel like an apology to you? I didn't think so. Now, for a narcissistic person to genuinely apologize can feel almost impossible. To do so, to apologize, is a sort of psychological recognition that they are human and flawed and not perfect. And that cracks through their grandiosity and evokes all kinds of shame. So they may do the sort of pseudo-apology to get out of trouble, or to look good, or just to be able to say that they apologized. But in fact, the "I am sorry" is a setup for the defense that's about to come. You can call it a defense or a rationalization, whatever, but ultimately it is meant to say, "Oh."
Ladies and gentlemen, the voice of reason returns to the scene of the crime to commit more crimes. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Why is it so difficult for people to say? Especially in this context. I want people to get to the phone lines tonight because this is going to be interesting. When you... let me just set it up first. Over the weekend, I had conversations. That's why I love the Cigar Lounge so much. You never know who's going to be in there and actually what they do. I ran into a sister. She's a psychologist, a clinical psychologist. And we were talking about this grass is greener concept. You know? And once you get to the other side and you realize that the grass isn't as green, why is it so difficult for people to come back to you and say, "I made a mistake"? And we had like a whole conversation. There's a bunch of people in there. Grass growing everywhere doesn't necessarily mean it's green. I made a mistake. I chose wrong. Now, people don't have to necessarily be narcissistic or on the narcissism spectrum. I'm talking about regular people who struggle with apologizing. I need to know, why is it such a problem? Sometimes you got to get what you pursue to understand what's truly good for you. A step-by-step guide to walk back a grave mistake. Right? What does that metaphor mean? The grass isn't greener. It means that what others have or possess might seem better than what you have, but that's not necessarily the case. It's a way of saying that envy and the desire for what's out there. Could the grass is greener be like a couched metaphor for FOMO? Yee, right? Envy and the desire for what's out there can blind you to the good things you already have. Now, I read in a book, Loyalty to Your Soul by Mary and Roger Holnick. And it was in sync with this notion. It says, in order to have what you want, you must first learn to want what you have already. Now listen, if you fumbled and you had to go out there to look at another lawn, how do you recover the fumble? How often do you hear people say, "You know what, I made a mistake. I made a bad choice. I went the wrong direction. Probably shouldn't have done that." And how do you apologize for that? Or is it too late for an apology? Quantum accountability. Does entangling guilt with Schrodinger's cat perpetuate relationship collapse? Again, fMRI scan studies show insincere apologies activate the ACC, which is the portion of the brain that is conflict monitoring, and suppress mirror neuron activity, according to UC Berkeley in 2021. These fMRI scans show that insincere apologies activate the anterior cingulate cortex, conflict monitoring, and suppresses mirror neuron activity. Here's your philosophical take. Bad faith, right? Concept. Delaying apology to preserve possibility mirrors quantum superposition evasion of relationship collapse. Your psychological piece is cognitive dissonance theory reveals unresolved guilt metastasizes into projective blame. Per Fastinger's neural alignment hypothesis. Epigenetic apologies. Can ancestral trauma bonds be repaired through somatic time travel? What does that mean? Right? What does it mean? Heigel's world historical spirit reframed. Collective guilt demands intergenerational repair rituals to resolve dialectical trauma. Vanderklok's somatic, which is the body, experiencing body-based apology practices rewires implicit memory networks frozen in trauma time. Let me come back to that. You mean to tell me even our apology style is passed down? So if we got family members who refuse to apologize, ancestors who refuse to apologize, you telling me that's coming? Man, listen. I made a mistake. Number one, apology must be specific. What mistake did you make? Number two, acknowledge how your mistake made the other person feel. Right? How it made the other person feel. Number three, speak on how it made you feel. See, this is the human part. You heard Dr. Ramani in the beginning explain. Anybody who's narcissistic or has prevalent narcissistic tendency, right? They see themselves as perfect. They see themselves as, I don't have to apologize for anything, right? I'm good. And because, and she said, the act of apologizing, the act of apologizing actually humanizes them, right? It brings them down a level, and they don't want to do that. That's why sometimes it's exceedingly difficult. Relational entropy. Does the second law of thermodynamics doom all partnerships to betrayal? Here's your empirical insight. Thermodynamic models of marriages show conflict escalates as relational free energy dissipates. Science advances 2023. Now, isn't that interesting? I wrote The Holographic Relationship in 2019. Let's read it again. Thermodynamic models of marriages shows conflict escalates as relational free energy dissipates. Right? Our guy Thomas Campbell, who wrote the book My Big Toe, talks about this a lot. The higher the entropy, i.e. neuroticism in your relationships, in yourself, right, the more conflictual the relationship may become. So you can say entropy is science's way of talking about neuroticism. Where there is negativity in the relationship, what's going to happen? There's going to be a slow degradation. Where there's conflict, unchecked negativity, That's your thermodynamic model of marriages. Shows that conflict escalates as relational free energy. What is free energy? Energy that can no longer be used. Energy that you lose access to. Zoe, I need an example. Well, you put gas in your car, it comes out of your car as exhaust. Once it comes out of your car as exhaust, you no longer have access to the energy. You see, the first law of thermodynamics says energy can never be destroyed, but it can only change form. So once it's combusted into your car, you burn it, the energy didn't dissipate. It's now free energy. You've lost access to it. It's exhaust now. Exhaust doesn't power a car, even though the energy is still there, the same amount of energy. How does relational free energy, i.e., entropy, the slow thermodynamic meltdown of your relationship, how does it become exacerbated with your reluctance to apologize sincerely, authentically, from your heart? Acknowledge what you did. Acknowledge how it made them feel. Acknowledge how it made you feel. Do you understand? Heraclitus. All right? Trust erosion as an inevitable flow, demanding perpetual repair to counter entropy. That's what Heraclitus talked about. Pantari is the term. Trust erosion as an inevitable flow. Listen, so it's always going to erode. There's going to be aspects that it's upkeep. It demands perpetual repair to counter entropy. But how are you going to do that when you always tired and you lack the capacity to deal with the issue? Listen, the fact that you lack the capacity is the very reason and justification you use to look in other people's yards. The grass is greener. Let me go see if the grass is green. Do you understand? Listen, when I come forward, the voice of reason is going to the phone lines. I want to talk to you tonight. Los Angeles, get on the phone. The number to dial is 1-800-920-1580.
Reasons. The reasons that we're here, the reasons that we fear, our feelings won't disappear. You're listening to the voice of reason with Zoe Williams on KBLA Talk 1580. If you missed our KBLA Talk 1580 Town Hall, the Altadena Eden Fire, 100 Days and Counting, you missed an evening of reverence, reflection, and reality.
You gotta live in the reality because this is it. Every day. You wake up, is this my life? Don't stay in denial, because yes it is. Don't stay in bargaining, where you're praying for a miracle, and if it wouldn't have happened, then this is what I would have done. It did.
Our panel participants kept it real. Really real.
I think, number one, it's amazing to me how we ignore systemic racism in our community, and as a people, we've apologized for so much, but when will we stop apologizing for what we have paid for? Because the truth of the matter is we paid for this.
You can always count on KBLA Talk 1580 to give it to you straight, no chaser. When you love folk, you tell them the truth. Seeking the truth, speaking the truth. We're KBLA Talk 1580, and we don't black down.
It's me, Olay Indulgent Moisture Body Wash. I see those dry elbows, baby. But don't worry, get moisturized right in the shower. So hydrated you can skip the lotion after.
Don't wanna see it dry no more. Skin so moisturized with body wash.
Look at you now, no more dry skin. Your skin gets the moisture it craves with
Olay Indulgent Moisture Body Wash.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. The Autopsy Initiative provides a second autopsy free of charge for victims' families who have lost their loved ones due to a police-related death. The services offered through the initiative include the completion of a second autopsy, disclosure of preliminary findings, and a final autopsy report. A police-related death is when an individual is harmed by police officers using deadly force, which results in an individual's death. Police-related death includes in-custody deaths, including those that arise during contact with law enforcement officers during arrest, pursuit, booking, transport, or incarceration. The Autopsy Initiative has a team of board-certified pathologists on call. An autopsy request may be completed by anyone with a close relationship with the victim, which may include the victim's spouse, partner, relative, close friend, or lawyer. To request a free second autopsy for a victim of police violence, please visit knowyourrightscamp.com. That's knowyourrightscamp.com. Then click on Autopsy, then click on Request. At KBLA, we believe in justice for victims of police violence. We say their names, and we don't black down. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
You know you want some more. It's the Voice of Reason with Zoe Williams on KBLA Talk 1580.
We've all run into it at different times, and you're probably wondering how to handle someone who does not apologize appropriately. This is not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And you've already experienced it because we're all imperfect. We all get into the same trap from time to time. So I've got 4 powerful tips for you today on how to handle it. It's really easy to get tipped over when we get offended, someone doesn't apologize appropriately. So the first step has nothing to do with them. It has everything to do with you. How you show up in this situation is because of who you are and what your character is. You're going to be respectful. Why? Because they deserve it? Well, whether they do or not, you're a respectful person. And that's why you're going to show up with respect, regardless of what somebody else does. So the first powerful step to dealing with someone who won't apologize appropriately is to choose to show up with respect. One thing that really brought the power of this particular step to my mind was when I was running groups. This is group therapy for juvenile delinquents. This was in a treatment facility. Kids had been referred there from the court. I don't call them delinquents because that's a label. I'm calling them that because that's what the court labeled them, and that's why they were in this treatment program. And I still remember this day. We're sitting in the group, and one of these kids, he's sitting over in the corner. He's got his hat on backwards. He's got a little bolt through his nose. You know, have you got the picture? And he's sitting there and saying, you know, I respect those who respect me. And I'm thinking, wow, that's impressive. Who can't do that? It's easy to respect someone who's respecting you. What's hard is to show up with respect when someone's being disrespectful towards you. That's what reveals your character. And we got to talk about that in the group. Here's your second powerful tip.
Hey, man, he's on fire. He's on fire. But let me tell you something. See, y'all think y'all slick. Krishnamurti says it the best. He says, you're not intelligent, you're clever. Which is just a way to say you're manipulative. You're not really intelligent, you're clever. Intelligence involves self-awareness. Can I say this to you this evening? An apology is not real if you're still in the act of concealing. If you're still concealing while apologizing for something, it's not a valid apology. See, a real apology is connected to revelation. And many people want to skip over that part, do you see? And just get to the apology. Well, I'm sorry for hurting you. That's a blanket license statement. It covers everything that I may have done. But see, when you hurt somebody, people want you to acknowledge what it is that you did. Again, you have to take responsibility for what you did. You have to show contrition, i.e. remorse for what you did. You have to acknowledge how what you did hurt their feelings, so you have to acknowledge their feelings in it. And then you also got to reveal how all of that made you feel. Because I'm sure you've hurt somebody before and they hit you with, why would you do that? As a man, I've cheated on a girl before, on a woman. You know? Would you want a man that your mother is with to do what you did to me? Are y'all listening? See, if you're still concealing, it's not an apology. An apology is about revealing. It is a self-revelation. This is what I did. Give context. If you want to apologize, give context. This was my thought process. This is why I did that. This was my intent. You should be talking more than you're listening at that point, because it's about claiming. An apology is a reclamation of power. I don't know if you... Listen, when we come forward, the voice of reason gonna keep cooking. We going to the phone lines.
He's on fire tonight. It's the voice of reason with Zoe Williams, exclusively on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Amber Payton with 3 Things You Should Know with BIN News. Leaders around the world are mourning the passing of Pope Francis.
Members of the LGBTQ plus community, migrants, people who are impoverished, people who are in prison, those are the ones that he gave God's compassion to.
New York Governor Kathy Hochul, a Roman Catholic, describes Pope Francis as a great man of humility and love for the marginalized. Pope Francis died at 88 from a stroke and heart failure, according to the Vatican. Reverend Al Sharpton says his meeting with Target CEO was productive following the retailer's pullback on diversity efforts. Activists have called for a boycott, linking the move to pressure after Trump ended federal DEI programs. And the University of Kentucky is canceling DEI graduation ceremonies, including those for Black, LGBTQ+, and first-gen students. Officials say the move aligns with a new state law banning DEI programs at public colleges. Get BIN News on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Experience adventure at Palm Springs Aerial Tramway. Ride the world's largest rotating tram car. Explore over 50 miles of scenic trails in pristine wilderness. Dine at 8,500 feet with awe-inspiring views and get that perfect souvenir. Adventure at its peak. Learn more at pstramway.com.
Yeah, y'all, come on. Here come the drums.
At KBLA Talk 1580, we fight the power every day.
Yeah. gonna give us what we need. Hey!
I listen to KBLA and I love the commercials. I know what the commercials mean. I also, if I'm looking and trying to figure something out, I need something to talk to me that might hit me. And it happens on TV because, you know, every time they show a sporting event, they got the pharmaceutical companies back to back to back telling people how to fix the sickness on the same stuff that they sell them. So we get it.
Yep, we get it too, Chuck D. And that's why at KBLA Talk 1580, we don't black down.
Drop it! Our freedom of speech is freedom of death. We got to fight the powers that be. Fight the power! Fight the power!
During this time, it's important for everyone to know your rights. The 4th, 5th, and 6th Amendments in the U.S. Constitution protects every one of us, regardless of immigration status. The 4th Amendment requires a judicial warrant to search your home. The 5th protects your right to remain silent, and the 6th gives you the right to an attorney. Just remember,
No warrant, no key. For privacy. You don't have to speak. No lawyer inside. Don't say a thing. Yeah, we all got rights.
Hey, we all got rights.
This is Stevie Wonder, calling on Los Angeles property owners to help get unhoused veterans off the street. If you're a property owner or know someone who is, consider accepting veteran housing vouchers. You will receive guaranteed rent while providing a stable and safe home. Help end veteran homelessness and make a real difference in people's lives.
Learn more by emailing houseourvets@lacity.org.
Olay Indulgent Moisture Body Wash.
It's me, Olay Indulgent Moisture Body Wash. I see those dry elbows, baby. But don't worry, get moisturized right in the shower. So hydrated you can skip the lotion after.
Don't wanna see it dry no more. Skin so moisturized with body wash.
Look at you now, no more dry skin. Your skin gets the moisture it craves with
Olay Indulgent Moisture Body Wash.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. Worried about eviction? You have rights, and Stay Housed LA can help. Stay Housed LA is a partnership between LA County, the City of Los Angeles, and local service providers. From Lancaster to Long Beach, we're here to help you with tenant education workshops, legal clinics, free legal services for eligible tenants, and online resources about tenant protection laws. Don't face eviction alone. Call our hotline at 1-888-694-0040. That's 1-888-694-0040. Or visit stayhousedla.org. Stay Housed LA, keeping Los Angeles residents in their homes. Stay Housed LA, your rights, your home, our community. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
The California Crusader newspaper would like to thank all of our subscribers for their support throughout the years, proudly serving the South Los Angeles and South Bay areas for more than 40 years. The California Crusader is a multicultural, black-owned, adjudicated newspaper that focuses on providing newsworthy information to the people in our community. We're constantly looking for ways to assist businesses in our community to connect with our subscribers. We provide low-cost, effective ways to promote your business with our reasonable and affordable advertising rates. You can participate by suggesting, sharing, and submitting your stories on the California Crusader newspaper Community Share Facebook group page, or visit our website at cal-cruise-news.com. That's calcruisenews.com. Then click on the Submit Now button located on the top right corner of the homepage, or text CCN to 42828. Again, text CCN to 42828. The California Crusader newspaper, working together to build a better community for our future. Subscribe today.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. You're listening to the voice of reason with Zoe Williams. Only on KBLA Talk 1580.
If you let me, girl, I'll be good to you. I
there is a very old religious insistence that pride is a cardinal sin and that humility is the virtue that counters pride. And then you have to ask, well, what does it mean? What does humility mean? And it means something like admission of ignorance.
Yeah.
But what's so useful about that, and why it's a virtue and why it's something very useful to practice, is that if you do admit to your ignorance, which is to note what you don't know and to dare ask it, then you immediately rectify.
Man, Jordan Peterson cutting up. Humility is the act of admitting your ignorance. We can apologize for checking out other lawns. Do you know that's probably one of the hardest things to do, is to say I chose wrong? I have callers on the line. I'm really interested in hearing their perspective, and their sisters too. So I love that. Nzinga, Pensacola, Florida, has joined the fray. What are your thoughts on tonight's topic?
Very heavy. I think forgiveness is a deep topic. Without it, I think it brings stagnation. It can bring isolation as well. It was funny. I was finished watching The Chosen One. And, Matthew Jesus and Matthew were talking. And I think Jesus had just turned Simon named to Peter. And he was, Matthew was saying that he had went to his parents and asked for forgiveness, but he never asked, Peter for forgiveness. He never apologized. And Jesus said, well, did you ask for forgiveness? And I think sometimes people are maybe waiting on that for someone who's done them wrong to ask for forgiveness. And I think sometimes forgiveness is something that we may have to do by default. Just so you don't stay in those rotten places. Because without forgiveness, I think you can really fester.
No, this is getting deep right now, Nzinga, and I have to jump in.
Go ahead.
This is getting really deep. Because are some people just forgiving so they can feel better? They don't really care about the person they hurt. Are they just performing the act so they can feel like a release for themselves? Talk to me.
Well, I guess I'm going to have to testify because in the past...
I guess I'm going to have to testify. Come on.
In the past, I thought it was really cute, to, say something slick or just be away with somebody. And then just instead of saying, I'm sorry, because how you were explaining a proper apology, that's been me for the last decade. I'm sorry that I did this. And it made you feel like this. And I'm very sorry for that. And before, I used to be like, well, I'm sorry if what I said made you upset. But I was not going to apologize for it. But, with growth and maturity, forgiveness is a big topic for me because I've let time lapse and, people have passed away. And, I'm still like, ugh. So I think sometimes people may apologize just to kind of get it over it and get over the hump. And it's not sincere. You can kind of always tell. But I think that forgiveness should be centered and focal because once somebody's gone, you can't apologize or you can't even forgive.
Right. So then the other question I have for you is, what if you were with somebody who had the grass is greener kind of mentality and went and checked out the other lawn and maybe figured that it's not working, it didn't turn out right? How would you accept, or would you accept, their sincere apology?
I probably would like being older. And being single, I kind of view things a little differently because I think Nazarene said and I'm sure you correct me if I'm wrong, though, but in the chat he asked, does sorry come with repentance? And I think I want to reframe that. I think an apology should come with being repentant. Because
then go with it. Then to be repentant
is the changed behavior. The repentance to me, when I think of repentance, it's more of a feeling. Like I'm guilty. But you may do it again. The repentance I think is that changed behavior, because you can say you're sorry, and I think a lot of times that happens with men, women who have been cheated on by their spouse or, their significant other. They're forgiving at first, but I think it's more of an observation because they're watching you now. They're seeing everything you do. But the only thing I say to that is, if I'm the type of, if I'm going to forgive you, I forgive you. In the past, I've been like, I'm going to think about it. But as I get older, and noticing how fragile we are, and our, like when you're on your tombstone, you have the date you were born and the date you passed.
Right.
The dash is everything you do in life, and it's really tiny. So I just feel like, forgiveness has been a focal. Now I'm working on forgiveness. I mean, I have to rock with you anymore.
Right. Absolutely.
But, it was a show that came on Netflix, and they had one scene where, was the light as a feather, and the guy kept coming back until his heart and the feather were equal on the scale. I'm kind of working on something like that. I just want to be as light as possible. So, it's been hard, but I'm working on it.
Nzinga, I love you, child. You done called in. You done brought Pensacola, Florida in the building, Nzinga.
Good night, y'all.
We appreciate it. If you want to bring your city in the building, all you got to do is call me, 1-800-920-1580. Let's get it.
Is it good to you? More Voice of Reason with Zoe Williams when we come forward.
Ladies and gentlemen, I cordially invite you out to the Comedy Connection series, where comedy meets connection. You're going to laugh, but you're also going to learn. The long-awaited collaboration where comedy collides with connection. It's your brother, Zoe Williams, the voice of reason, KBLA's own. I'm teaming up with my friend, the alpha male of comedy, Ray Grady. We're going to host this comedic relationship roundtable series live at Inglewood's iconic Miracle Theater. May 31st, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Don't wait around. Get your tickets now. Join top comedians Ron G. and Kevin Tate, along with clinicians Dr. P. Pacoya McCall Robinson, along with my friend Christopher Johnson, PhD. Trust me, this is something you don't want to miss. It's unique, it's funny, and it's insightful. Think therapy meets punchlines. Tickets are selling faster than a bad first date. You better grab yours now.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why, when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million+ products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them, the right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Still getting around to that fix on your car? You got this. On eBay, you'll find millions of parts, guaranteed to fit. Doesn't matter if it's a major engine repair or your first time swapping your windshield wipers. eBay has that part you need, ready to click perfectly into place. For changes big and small. Loud or quiet. Find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. But you already know that. eBay. Things, people, love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 reminds you, when we fight, we win. The Youth Justice Coalition is challenging America's addiction to incarceration and discrimination. YJC works to dismantle policies leading to mass incarceration, law enforcement violence, and the school-to-prison pipeline. Their approach? Transformative justice, community intervention, free LA high school, legal defense, and system monitoring. YJC promotes safety without relying on prisons. Their goal? Prevent system contact and help people exit the system through direct action, advocacy, and education. Want to get involved or need help? Call 323-235-4243. That's 323-235-4243. Join YJC in creating change. When we fight, we win. KBLA Talk 1580, your voice for justice. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
You know you want some more. It's the voice of reason with Zoe Williams on KBLA Talk 1580.
Suppose one has lost a great friend, or a wife whom you really loved, or a person whom you loved. And there is the ending of that person. What has actually taken place there? The ending of all your relationship with that person. And suddenly realizing how utterly lonely you are. Because that has been the only relationship that had meant something. And suddenly that is gone.
Boy, Krishnamurti, he wants you to look into it. Listen, I've been telling you guys a long time. Just because you moved on doesn't mean you've gotten through it. You've worked through it. It's easy to change the scenery. It's easy to change the person. But the purpose? Do you understand? That's a bit harder. You know, iPhones have these little features where you can change the different screensavers. We treat relationships and people like screensavers. Right? I'm going to change it up. But if there was a connection, this is what Krishnamurti is saying. You really loved this person. Right? It had meaning. How do you reconcile that in another relationship? You see, somebody told you reconcile it with another relationship. Do you see? You get into another relationship unreconciled. Do you see? The holographic mirage of greener grass. The human tendency to perceive greener grass operates as a cosmic sleight of hand, a projection of Jungian shadows, mistaking lack for destiny. Neuroscientific studies on predictive coding reveal the brain constructs reality through expectation, not objective observation. This is Clark, 2013. When mirror neurons fixate on others' curated lives, they fabricate comparative fantasies, mistaken dopamine-driven seeking, right? They're mistaking dopamine-driven seeking, according to Skinner's operant conditioning, for evolution. Yet quantum entanglement proposes a radical counter. There is no other side. No other side exists. There is no other lawns. It's only the lesson that is within you. And Spirit is setting it up for you to continue that lesson. You can throw away meaning, but it's going to boomerang in the next situation. You got to get the lesson. What we condemn or covet in others reflect disowned fragments of self, relational holograms where observer and observed co-create reality. Right? Here, the grass symbolizes the psyche and its unfertilized potential. To water one's own demands Nietzschean armor fatigue, loving one's fate enough. Nietzsche's amor fatigue. Loving one's fate enough to compost shame into humility. But many of us see shame and humility as the same thing. Humility is not the same thing as humiliation. To be humble, right? That's why many of us are not grateful. See, discontent is the opposite side of the coin of grateful, thankful. See, we get uncomfortable when it ain't working. We get disrespectful when it ain't right. It's got to be right, you know. When it's not, when it's not conducive to what our wounds demand, right? When in fact we should be in a moment of humility. Do you see? Thich Nhat Hanh's interbeing principles align with quantum biologist Bruce Lipton. Cells thrive not by fighting environments, but by adapting to them. Listen, hold on. You mean I got to adapt to the toxicity? Listen, if somebody going upside your head, get out. If somebody hurting your kids, get ghost. But if somebody is threatening your damn wounds that you've been ignoring, you better lean in. That's when you adapt. That's when you strengthen the adaptation muscle. Many of us have lost the skill of spiritual adaptation. Cells thrive not by fighting environments, but by adapting with them. Relationships mirror this. Toxic soil, unhealed trauma bonds. It breeds thorns in the plant. Yes, it's beautiful. Yes, the aesthetic is right, but there are thorns, and these thorns are to be dealt with. But what we do is when we find the thorn, what do we say? Oh, let me get on to the next. It's greener over there. External greener vistas. Do you understand? I'm here to tell you. No humiliation, no authentic apology. No self-revelation, no authentic apology. Do you see? We've got callers on the line. Let's get them in here. I want to talk to you. Why is it so hard to say I made a mistake? I did the wrong thing. Talk to me. What are your thoughts? We've got Attila from Houston, Texas. What are your thoughts, Attila, on tonight's topic?
Well, hello there, Uncle. What's going on?
In here arguing with myself.
pontificating. We love to see it. We love to see it.
Yes.
So, you said, why is it so hard to do what now?
To admit
say you're sorry.
One has made a mistake. To admit one, yes. Why is it so difficult to do that?
Because it's like an ego death. If I'm spiritually famished, malnourished, right, and I'm building my nourishment through the supply of other people, having to apologize is a way of like taking away that supply in a sense. Because the supply is really just there to serve a need. That's it. So how is the need going to say, I need to apologize?
Wow. Because the need is in a perpetual state of needing, of wanting. So it's not going to apologize. Oh, that's heavy. It's not going to apologize. It's just looking to be satiated. I hear you. Continue.
Right. And I mean, if you take it even further, this is a big part of the reason why I think people really, really like pets. Like, they really like dogs that behave, right? So in a sense, when you're appeasing and trying to people please and trying to do this dance, so to speak, to get someone to essentially let you control them through your niceness, it flips. Like, now they're controlling you through your need to be needed. Like, it's so convoluted, I tell you.
No, stay right there.
But I will.
No. You stay right there. Don't go nowhere. My niece from Houston, Texas is on the line cooking scrambled eggs, but it's got prosciutto. It's got menudo. She's cooking a feast. Let's continue.